If you have a good idea and I make it better, it's now my idea. It's not theft. Plagiarism is a thing that they only kept you in high school from doing because they didn't want you cheating. Rip me off. Go to my Facebook right now. Take everything that I'm doing for Fairbanks and do it for your local community. Do it. See if it works. If it doesn't, guess what? You ripped me off for free. It didn't cost you a dime. If it works, congratulations. You just made $200,000 next year. And then lastly is excellence. This goes more towards that ethics. Don't ever put yourself in a compromising situation, put your clients in a compromising situation, or do anything that would be considered unethical. This industry is riddled with lawsuits. Make yourself lawsuit bulletproof. Do not let somebody have leverage over you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Why Do I Suck as a Real Estate Agent podcast. Today, I got a pretty special guest on here. His name is Nic Williams. Nic is from Fairbanks, Alaska. Nic, how you doing, man?
Good. Special day today.
Love it. So you're a realtor and a broker up in Fairbanks with the Summit Realty Group. It sounds like you have been recognized for quite a few things. Top Rookie of the Year, Fairbanks Top Realtor 2021, 2022, 2023, top 10 and all the things. And you have a pretty nice brand going up there too with the Alaskan REALTOR brand. And just using social media, content, blogs, all the things to reach people, which I'm assuming makes a lot of sense in your area. So welcome to the show, Nic.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to hopefully sharing some tidbits of knowledge and helping somebody out.
Love it, man. We were talking a little bit here just before we started recording. And so you're in Fairbanks, which you admittedly chose to stay in Fairbanks, and former military guy. So I appreciate you for that. But tell us a little bit of your backstory and how you became a realtor.
Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble. It depends on if my fiance is listening or not. But high school athlete, I bounced around being a military brat all over the world. I lived in Europe for a little bit, lived in the East Coast, Southeast, primarily in the South. Spent some time in New York, Long Island area, not the city area. And that just taught me diversity, other aspects of life. I got to see how Europeans live and the British live. The Army sent me, fast forward, went to college at Virginia Military Institute, got my degree there, got to study abroad in Europe. So really been exposed to different types of people my entire life. I can't say I've ever been in a nutshell. And then I joined the military and they sent me all over Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, all over the place. And I did a combat deployment in Afghanistan in 2013, 2014. Ultimately got out of the Army up here in Alaska after doing my 2 terms as a company commander. I wasn't really looking forward to the promotion to major. It was very desk jobby. Look at me now. My next career was choosing a desk job in Fairbanks, Alaska. And now I'm one of the northernmost realtors in the United States. We'll use that as my claim to fame.
For sure. Well, it's not all desk job, right? Like we got to go.
No, that's why I wanted it. Just like the Army, there's a lot of desk jobs to it, but I got to go out in the field and jump out of airplanes and stuff.
So why did you choose real estate of all careers? I'm sure you probably had a myriad of opportunities with your background to choose any and all things, right? So why real estate?
Real estate was supposed to be a temporary holdover job. It was supposed to be a skill that I wanted to pursue in order to get into flipping and business in general. But when my communist salary in the U.S. Army with my free benefits and free student, all that stuff that comes along with being in the Army ran out because I was getting out, I just followed my then girlfriend, now fiance's lead, and she's been in real estate for 20 years now. Okay. And figured, why don't you teach me the ropes? And then maybe you stay the realtor, I become the flipper contractor guy, and we're on HGTV and have a TV show and retire early. Didn't work out that way. It turned out I actually liked the negotiation and business side of real estate more than I thought I would. I stuck around a lot longer than I thought I would. And now 6 years later, I'm a broker trying to open up my own brokerage in the near future, grow a team, do all the things that I've done underneath my brokerage for the last 5 years, just now on my own in the near future.
Love it, man. I took the jump about 2.5 years ago. My background isn't anything like yours as far as military goes, but I was a sports guy and I worked in sports for about 10 years before I got into real estate. And then same as you, I worked under a brokerage for 4 years. I love my broker. He's an awesome dude. He's one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet, but I hit my cap, so to speak, as far as learning and where I was going to go there. And I'm just not wired that way to be stagnant, and decided to open my own. And so I got a team of 11 right now. And yeah, things are going really well on my end. And then,
That's the goal, right? Continue to build and grow and do these things. My brokers are amazing. They let me have an opportunity that I don't think anybody else ever would. They let me open up a branch office. I hired a team of 7. We were doing phenomenal. This was back in 21, 22, and that kind of came to end in early 24. But it was just because splits. I need to make so much to pay for my overhead. They need so much to pay for their risk and liability. My agents still need to make enough money. And when everything was said and done, it was just like, you know what? There's too many fingers in the pot, and it wasn't just sustainable for the long term. So I'm still friends with all my agents. Nobody got fired. Nobody left bad terms. They made better money with me, but life happens.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. All right, so let's talk about that. Obviously, you have experience running teams. You're a broker. What are we talk a lot about this because I think you have really 2 groups that struggle, maybe 3 in real estate. You have your rookies that come in, then you have your people who've been in the business for 4 or 5 years. Maybe they've had the taste of success. They're really not growing. And then you have the people who've been around for a long time who just get a wall or burned out. And there might be some other little subcategories off of that. But what are the biggest behaviors that you can identify right away as to maybe in those 3 little buckets as to why people don't succeed?
My buckets are slightly different. We'll call them your younger generation, your middle generation like us, and then your older generation. We all know that realtor that's 85 years old, still selling houses. We also know that 22-year-old that doesn't even own a house that's trying to sell houses. No shade on anybody, but really what I've identified over the years is these people understand the technology. These are the millennials, the young 20-year-old kids. They understand social media. They just don't have the connections.
Yep.
These old people do not understand the internet. No shame. You're doing plenty of yourself, but you know a lot of people. So you're getting the phone calls. You're getting that sphere of influence.
Yep.
And then us 30 to 50-year-old people in the middle, we know people, we know the internet, we understand all these things. And I think we're in the best situation right now, the millennials, if you will.
Yeah,
and I think you're going to see a boom of millennial realtors. You're going to hear some struggling Gen X and boomers and all that stuff. And the Gen Zers are going to struggle themselves too. But that's all going to turn in the near future. Why? Technology and personality are finally coming together, and that is what is your brand, your reputation, and ultimately that is what makes people successful. It's top of mind, sphere of influence, and name recognition.
Yeah, for sure. So you're a big technology guy. I took a look at all your social media. You got a lot, just like I do. What are the things like you're doing on social media that maybe others aren't, or for those who just don't feel comfortable with it? Sometimes I think that's early on. I've always been like a Facebook guy, right? Like having that. But as far as taking it to profit, that's a whole nother level when you do that, because you're not just sharing, hey, here's a cute picture of my dog. This is a house I'm selling for somebody. So what is it about technology? Obviously being in Fairbanks, I'm sure that matters a ton, but yeah, why don't you explain that?
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form. My goal is always to fake it until you make it. And so I'm faking my expertise in technology until I get good enough at it. And I am learning every day. That's something that I want to imbue on all the younger realtors or people that need some help is find a passion for learning. Ain't nobody going to teach you. Your continued education credits to keep your license aren't going to make you a better realtor. Right. You got to study on your own. You got to read books. You got to get better on your own.
Yep.
Now, that being said, quantity over quality, quality over quantity, what is the right answer? I think for everybody it's different. I think for every market it's different, but figure out what platforms are intended for. Facebook is community, right? Instagram is for your following. TikTok is for authenticity. LinkedIn is for professionals, right? So who are you going after? Boil everything down, just like Alex Hormozy and all these people and all these different podcasts say, and figure out what niche you're trying to be in. For me, it's relocations. Anybody in the military coming up here, people that are trying to escape the lower 48 and want to be in Alaska. And then secondarily, it's multifamily investors. So those are my 2 niches. That's what I go hard on. That's where most of my listings are from. If I did luxury, I'd go broke. If I did flipper, fix construction properties, I'd be so busy that I wouldn't be selling houses because of all of the work that needs to be done with them. So that's what I chose. And then I leaned heavily into it. So create a Facebook group, create a Facebook page, create a Instagram page, do everything on your business page and start separating yourself from your personal perspective. Same thing with your business. Like I'm the Alaskan Realtor. It's my superhero mantra, if you will. I'm not Nic Williams. Nic Williams is the guy that sits at home with his Doberman and watches movies and hangs out with his fiance. The Alaskan Realtor is the guy who's on the internet trying to educate people and give away knowledge for free. And that's just my strategy.
I love it too. And that's something I bring up quite a bit too, is about, I think when you started like early on in your real estate career, you're trying to make money, right? But that first 6 months to 18 months to 2 years is tough. You remember going back probably like you maybe, I don't know, if you're like everybody else, they've had less than 5 deals or less than 10 deals for sure their first year. So I think that's the hardest part is, okay, I got to put all this time in. I got to provide value and I still am not getting a return. And so like the entitlement comes in, or the commission breath, as I call it, where somebody presses too much to try to get paid, is a big deal. So those first 6 months are massive, and you just hit on it, is providing value. And I would assume that you don't expect anything back from that value, but at this point you just are confident enough to know that you're going to get something out of it at some point.
I have a million case studies that prove it. My best client today was a $500 commission check. He wanted to buy a 2-acre lot of land next to the river way out of town. I sold him that land. He was a nice guy. We really didn't interact that much. I taught him about land and covenants and zoning and what you can and can't do and all that stuff. Turn around. We have an Air Force base here, a pretty large one with a lot of F-35 pilots. Yep. To date, I can track 35 sales to that individual person between girls that he referred me to and they referred me to. So again, it's not about it is about the money. We all want to get paid. I wouldn't do this for free. Anybody that will is a liar. I hate those people. We all do it for a paycheck. The president wouldn't work if he was broke either. But you have to love your job in addition to the money. And the people I get to interact with are great. And the feeling of teaching somebody and helping somebody. Yes, I'm not giving you $1 and helping you financially, but I am changing your life by teaching you equity, the value of real estate. And here later we can talk about the business mindset, because a lot of realtors are still looking at it as real estate as a job when your persona is a business, and you need that little mind shift here in a little bit.
I think that's a great segue, because that's after the beginning part of real estate. But essentially, if you make the decision, I want to be a real estate agent, you're making the decision, I'm going to be a business owner. That's in and of itself. So talk about that.
Yeah, so you can do it a million different ways. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you guys any tax advice, financial advice, etc. Hopefully that's a good enough disclaimer for your attorneys.
You're good.
But everybody should be operating underneath an LLC, right? There's a lot of legalisms in real estate. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets sued for X, Y, and Z, especially in the culture that we have these days. By working underneath an LLC, you're protecting your private assets, the things that you own. So Nic Williams is untouchable. You can just sue the Alaskan Realtor, right? Now, underneath the Alaskan Realtor, there's benefits that come along with being a business owner that nobody talks about. Pre-tax versus post-tax spending. When you're a normal person like you and me, when we get a paycheck, we get taxed on that paycheck, and then we have the rest to spend. With a business, it's the other way around. You get paid, you get to spend all of your money, and you get taxed on the profit. So if there's no profit left over, you minimize your taxation. Now, do this legally, talk to a tax professional, do it all that way. I get a new cell phone every time I want one. I get a new camera every time I want one. I get a new laptop every time I want one. My car is a big heavy-duty truck because I'm in Alaska. Doesn't make sense in San Diego. But to get me around, that is a work write-off because it's over 7,000 pounds and it's a tax write-off. Once you start thinking like that, one, you're going to minimize your taxation, increase your income, and be able to leverage that business. Now, that's the financial side of things. You also got to look at like the persona type of things. So you get to work online and create yourself an alter ego. I believe in authenticity, but there are coaches out there that say create an alter ego. I know realtors here in town that socially they look one way and then privately introvert extrovert style, right? They look very extroverted on camera and they do the thing. And then you cannot see this person in the evenings because they're drained and they're at home trying to recharge their batteries in the dark, quiet privacy of their homes. So maybe that's a touching point and maybe a starting point there.
Yeah, I love it. No, and that's awesome because that's essentially it. You just talked about the tax benefits for sure of being under an LLC, and that's something I'm having even my W-2 employees do when I pay, because they get their W-2, but then they're also get real estate commission. So I pay them separately that way. So having them get their own LLCs is going to be huge for them because now they're small business owners. They can go and do that part, and they get paid pretty well.
Do it for everything. You got a lot of stocks or gold or crypto or paintings, put that in an LLC. You got a bunch of real estate investments, put that in an LLC.
Yep.
And same thing, if your dishwasher breaks at your tenant's duplex, that's a write-off. The trip, because you probably won't be able to write off your vehicles, but tracking your mileage, right? So driving to and from that apartment is a write-off. For real estate, if you have, like me, a home office, you get to write off the square footage that you use. But guess what? If you're tracking your mileage, every time you come home, you're going to the office, right? Now make sure you work. Don't just come home and drink a beer. But as long as you follow the tax code, there are so many loopholes and tips and tricks that are legal that will save you 10s, 20s, thousands of dollars and eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars when you sell enough real estate.
Yeah, I love it. Cool. So that's the first part, right? Just building the foundation of a business and being a business owner. What's the next step once they become a business owner?
Yeah. So once you're a business owner is building your brand.
Yep.
Nowadays, everything's about the brand. Again, you can build a brand on Nic Williams, or you can build a brand like I did, the Alaskan Realtor. I chose the Alaskan Realtor because of search engine optimization. People normally type in Alaska Realtors, a real estate agent in Alaska, whatever. Guess what? My little brand already draws people in. Then it goes into really developing that brand, finding your niche, right? Because if you're just shotgunning everything, people are going to get fatigued. If you're just reposting everything constantly, they're going to get fatigued. So there is some strategy in this on how to ramp up a brand and actually provide value. In the end, everything comes back to value. If there's no value in your post, don't post it.
Yeah.
Bringing attention to a coming soon or a listing, sure, that's great. That's the cookie cutter thing we should all be doing at the bare minimum. And that's just advertising. I'm talking about the videos and stuff you do like that. I love watching these funny realtors doing singing and dancing videos and the hateful walkthroughs and the comedy stuff. But that's because they're making money off of social media. I'm not.
Right. And I got, and admittedly, my girls do a good job of that part. There's that comedic split to show that they're like, hey, these guys are fun.
Top of mind awareness.
Yep.
That's what it is. Top of mind awareness. Every time your girls do that name, that tag, they're thinking of you. I would say if you have the personality to rock with it, like your girls do, go to the moon with it. There's that little kid that's running around, got his license in 50 states, and he's doing like those speed run through videos.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That kid is going to be a threat in the future as far as how much real estate he sells. Like he's building that brand, and the real estate's going to come later on, right?
Yep. Or Tampa Bree, right? Tampa Bree's the one who picks on all the
exactly. She's hilarious.
She's phenomenal.
But you won't believe how many of my sellers would tell me every day, I would never hire that girl. All she does is badmouth my house. Because we got to keep in mind, as much fun as we're having as real estate agents on social media, these are people's homes.
Yep.
And I think, yes, I can get 1 million likes bad mouthing a creepy home. That was somebody's daughter's room. That was somebody's deathbed, maybe, depending on if it's an estate sale. So a million different things. There's a lot of emotions to it. And
it's calculated gamble.
Yeah. What you don't want to do is hurt your reputation locally because you're trying to build a nationwide brand that isn't going to help you. So that's number one, is really just put thought into your persona.
Yep.
From there, it's using the right tools to get to people. And that's where AI comes in. People maybe use it too much or not correctly enough. I think it is starting to make people lazy, but the time saving and the overhead you can save by not having a publicist and a copywriter and a photographer and an editor and all these other things is priceless.
Yeah, and I think too, going to the AI thing, just on the listing descriptions as well. You see a listing description and you can tell immediately if it's a chat GPT.
Guilty of it.
Yeah, so I have been, and I still do it for almost every single listing description, but I've trained AI now to put it in my own voice, and make it less fluffy, because it's, as you walk into the house and there's this sun-filled room, and I'm like, that's not accurate at all. But I've seen agents just copy and paste stuff like that, and the listing description's not even close to accurate. At least do that.
Teach you how to do that. Oh my God, this is something I'm going to tell everybody how to do it. So you can use ChatGPT to do your listing descriptions. The first thing you do is you take your MLS description, so your stats, right? Drop that PDF in the ChatGPT. Then you turn on that little microphone, and all you do is you talk your way through the house. I'm going to walk into the front door. To the left is my closet. To the right is a hallway. Down that hallway are 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. In front of me from the front door is an open concept living room, dining room, kitchen. The kitchen is made of white marble, white cabinetry, shaker style cabinets. That then turns around a U-turn into a laundry room that enters into a garage. Now ChatGPT has a floor plan. Then you add, okay, I want you to talk like insert name of whatever author or poet or whatever you like that you're trying to go after, or real estate persona, say Nic Williams, and then it's going to copy me and rip off everything I do. Ryan Serhant, name whoever you want, right? Then you go in and you basically say, tell me a storytelling style MLS description that does not have any HUD violations or taboo vocabulary according to NAR, and let it go. And you'll be surprised what it does. Remove the M dashes, make sure it doesn't use any cliche words. Like here in Alaska, every single time it's nestled. I am allergic to the word nestled. Nothing's nestled here. It's all spacious and spread out, or it's ugly and compact, right? But if you do that, keep in mind, people don't need you to regurgitate the price and the address and all that stuff in the description. That's in the thing that people look at in Zillow and homes.com or realtor.com. Go towards that emotional element where you're trying to tell somebody this empty, ugly house that right now doesn't have any personality because it's just white and gray and whatever, could be your next home. And this is how your lifestyle will look. This is how your commute will look. It changes the game.
That's amazing. That's an amazing tip. I've never actually thought to do that, but that's simple.
Just do it like that. Literally, do the microphone. Don't type. Just close your eyes and talk your way through the house and try to give this artificial intelligence that's smarter than all of us a visual. And then it's going to say, hey, down a long hallway, the kids are going to be away from the noise, and the master bedroom's on the other side of the house for privacy. And sometimes it gets a little naughty. You might have to edit that. Talk about the laundry room not being next to a bedroom so it doesn't keep you up at night if you do your laundry late. Like, it comes up with some pretty creative stuff. Half the time I got to shrink half of it down because it's way too much for what we're allowed to use as far as characters go.
Yeah, and one of the things I've done is I've just created a project on ChatGPT that is specific to that. So I gave it its own personal rules, everything like that. Obviously, the M dashes I've taken out of all of mine.
Put that in the head memory. Like, that's ChatGPT, period. That whole program is not allowed to use M dashes for me.
Yeah, same. I got rid of it too because it's like every post on Facebook has them. Every listing description has.
I don't even know how they're using them like as commas sometimes. They're using them as hyphens sometimes. I don't even know what an M dash is. And I got 2 college degrees and I definitely don't use them.
Love it. So let's talk about building a team now. You went through the tax ramifications, the branding aspect of things. I think that nugget right there is phenomenal nugget right there. I think that one has on our score when we get done with Riverside will probably be a 99, I would guess, for that aspect of it. But you've built a team now. You got 7 agents or have had a large team. What is it like in your office as far as culture building? Because this business is brutal. It's tough.
Yeah.
And so how do you build that into the recruiting process of agents? What are you looking for?
Well, you got to keep in mind, I'm in Fairbanks, Alaska. 1, we're landlocked, so we don't have a lot of outside talent coming in. 2, we're a small town. I'd say the entire county, which is the size of Massachusetts, is 100,000 people. So there are more people in Rhode Island than Alaska. We have more bears than humans. We have 600 and something thousand people total in the state, and 40% of them are in Anchorage. So background there. I had a team of 7 at my best, and that was late 23, early 24. And then right now I'm completely solo. I'm just an independent agent at my office, and we're working on some acquisitions and other things too. But to hit the question really hard on how did I grow from a personal assistant all the way up to a 7-person team in 1 year. Value. It goes back to the same thing you're providing to your clients on the internet is what you want to provide your agents in the office. I really focus on new agents. I really focused on people that needed help, needed coaching, training, stuff like that. I'm pivoting now to more of helping brokers create teaching aspects for their agents. And so I'm training brokers more now than I'm training agents on the minute stuff. But the passion's always at base level, right? Like, how do you get that new person motivated and going? You hit on it early on. It's mostly motivation. So when you are looking to hire somebody, you don't really... I don't want to put words in people's mouth. There's different strategies here. This is my strategy, okay? I don't want to work with that person that wants to have their hand held, that wants me to be their mommy and daddy, that wants to come to me like a child suckling on a teat, because I want independent people that want to surpass me, right? My goal is that one day my offspring surpass me. My agents are basically just non-blood offspring. So how do I get my agents to outperform me? And the first thing is mindset. You have to hire the right people, and that's using your DISC analysis that I'm sure everybody's had. Read the book Surrounded by Idiots. It just talks about different personality traits, and find the right people's personality traits for the roles you're trying to fill. Your star agent is not going to be your steady Eddie agent. Your cash cow agent is not going to be your TC. Your TC is not your virtual assistant. It's not your personal assistant. So identify the personality traits and then tailor it to them. You can't yell at everybody and you can't coddle everybody. Everybody receives things differently. So tailor a relationship. We've gotten into a culture so much where people want to tell you in a book how to do things. And that's what I'm really trying to tippy toe around right now is come up with a human to human approach. Stop thinking of it as an employee or as a robot. You're dealing with another human, just like you have to act different towards every listing client and every buyer's client. You also got to act different towards every single one of your agents and tailor that experience, bring it back to reality, and talk to them human to human, just like we're talking right now. I could put a hat on, I could act all goofy and give you a completely different version of myself. But my whole theory is let me put myself out there. The ones that like me are going to work with me or work for me or stay with me. And the ones that don't, I'm sorry, I'm not the right fit for you. It's not me. It's not you.
Right.
It's us.
Yep.
So that's probably number one. You want me to keep going?
Sure. Let's roll.
I got this saying, the 3 E's of real estate. So if you spell out real estate, it has 3 E's in it. I have 3 E's as well, but they stand for expertise, efficiency, and excellence. And so those 3 things are the things that I want us all to focus on if you're working for me. Expertise doesn't mean you're an expert, doesn't mean that you know everything. It means you're not going to be satisfied with not knowing something. I started real estate and didn't know anything about it. I've now sold 650-ish transactions in a 5.5-year period. I don't think anybody in Fairbanks or even the state of Alaska as an individual has sold as much as me in this time period or even before that. And that's because every time I find something I don't know, even if it's somebody like the other day asked me, can I get a T12? I'm like, what is a T12? It's some form in a tax paperwork that talks about investment real estate. I dug into it. I learned as much about it as possible. And I'm like, cool, I understand the benefit of having a T12 now. I don't even know if I'm calling it the right thing. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
But I don't know what T12 is, so.
We call them P&Ls. Somebody else wants a balance sheet. It's the same thing, but a little bit different. And so learning the difference between these things so you can satisfy your customer or satisfy the buyer. Also tell me about taxes. Then you learn about advertising and it's, oh, cool, search engine optimization. Well, what does that mean? Let me hop on ChatGPT and learn some of it, or let me read a blog about it. Encumbrances, all the title stuff that we deal with. Negotiation styles, by the way, if you haven't read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Yeah, it's a book on my library that I have here.
I just met him at Bigger Pockets Con earlier this year, and the dude is beyond a genius. Real cool, down-to-earth person and super smart. That book can help everybody. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or 85 years old. Yep. But really just like pulling everything in and wanting to be an expert. Nobody is an expert. Even the experts aren't experts, but wanting to be one. This is all stuff you're striving towards. These are not things you're calling yourself. The second thing is efficiency, and this is my bread and butter. If I can take a shortcut, I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm a very honor-driven person. The school I went to had an honor code that said, thou shalt not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. But what I realized in business is theft is not theft. If you have a good idea and I make it better, it's now my idea. It's not theft. Plagiarism is a thing that they only kept you in high school from doing because they didn't want you cheating. Rip me off. Go to my Facebook right now. Take everything that I'm doing for Fairbanks and do it for your local community. Do it. See if it works. If it doesn't, guess what? You ripped me off for free. It didn't cost you a dime. If it works, congratulations. You just made $200,000 next year. And then lastly is excellence. This goes more towards that ethics. Don't ever put yourself in a compromising situation, put your clients in a compromising situation, or do anything that would be considered unethical. This industry is riddled with lawsuits. Make yourself lawsuit bulletproof. Do not let somebody have leverage over you. And then if you're like me and a little bit vindictive, keep a little black book so you can keep leverage over everybody else in case you need it for a future day.
You got your blacklist and your black book of people you won't work with anymore, huh?
You think I'm kidding?
I got those too. We had one last week that was pretty rough, and she sent me a message at the end of it and said they were definitely inappropriate, F-bombing the buyers on the final walkthrough, which they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. And so I went to the second final walkthrough with the buyer because I felt bad because of their actions. And then she said something to me at the end. We gave her a moving truck as well to make sure everything got moved out in time, and they still weren't out on time. And so she just said, I'm never using your company again. And I said, cool, just make sure you have the moving truck back by the end of the day. That was it. I'm like, I don't need to work with people like that. It's not in my honor code.
Well, mine was, again, if I would have sold somebody a bad house, I'd do everything in the world to make it right, especially if it was something I said or did. There's always hidden. I don't know about a foundation. That's what your inspector's for. Right. Everybody has roles and responsibilities. But if I negotiated something into an offer that was not what my client wanted, for example, I've done this before. Inspection report negotiations, they wanted 1, 2, 3, and 4. I put 1, 2, and 3. I left 4 off of it after they closed the house. Hey, Nick, I told you we wanted this fixed. I'm like, oh, I left it off my paperwork. That's me. I'll pay for the repair. Yep. That's what I mean about excellence. Don't let your cheapness affect you. But again, I've had clients where that a year after I sold my house froze up their home because they forgot to put heating oil into their boiler system, and at -30, your house needs some warmth, and they froze up their pipes. And go on my Google review, it's still there. I leave it up as a term of pride, but my 5-star review I got when I sold them a house turned into a 1-star threat when they were facing foreclosure because they froze up their house. And as much as I would love to take accountability for that, I had nothing to do with it. And you also got to be able to stand your ground and not let people take advantage of you, because sadly this world will give and it will also take from you.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this has been phenomenal, Nick. I think we could go for another half an hour, but I got a meeting coming up here in a little bit.
Maybe a part two another day.
Any closing thoughts?
No, guys, give it your best. Be above approach. Don't let anybody take advantage of you, but at the same time, don't take advantage of others, and treat everybody the way you would want to be treated. Put yourself in your buyers or sellers' shoes when you're working for them. You'll see a different side of what you think because you're always looking from the outside in. Just try to step back and look from the inside out sometimes, and your eyes will be opened, and God will bless you with amazing gifts for the rest of eternity.
Hell yeah. I love it. Thanks, Nick. You guys, thanks for coming on the Why Do I Suck as a Real Estate Agent podcast, where we're trying to make sure that you don't suck. And so huge thanks to Nick. You guys can find him. He's talked about the Alaskan Realtor. Look him up on there. He's got his own website. He's got YouTube. He's got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Check him out. I'm sure I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm going to. He'd be not in a place where he wouldn't mind throwing some nuggets out if you reach out to him. Yeah, so thanks again, Nick. And I look forward to, hopefully, I'm going to follow your stuff and watch your progress. And it's going to be fun, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
So that's a wrap here on the Why Do I Suck as a Real Estate Agent podcast. Thank you so much for spending time with me and our guests. The people you hear on this show really aren't guessing. They've been doing the work. They've been doing it for a long time. They're sharing their behaviors, their habits, their successes, their systems that actually lead to real work, real success. So please subscribe and follow so you don't miss the next conversation. Until next time, remember, you don't suck. You're learning. It's the beginning, or maybe you're in a rut, but you don't suck. So make a few changes, stay curious, stay consistent, and please keep coming back.